Black people in white spaces become the speaker of Black people. We become the representative for Black people, for better or for worse. I've been asked several times, well, what do you think? And not because they just value my opinion as a person, but because they value my opinion as a
As a
Black man.
Black person, yeah.
And I say to them, I didn't get a license. I don't get elected. I don't have a special pass to tell you what Black people think about this issue. What I can tell you is how Black people have been and will probably be impacted by this decision. I can tell you based on lived experiences and history how this decision has impacted me or impacted my people historically. We're not a monolith. We don't all think the same. We don't all want the same thing. I attempt to do the best I can to make us feel seen.
I did not expect you to mention that role. But I want to acknowledge how being a Black person in a white space is a huge responsibility. You have to make a conscious effort to be in a space and to not just speak for yourself, but to speak for the people who are not in the room with you. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who may not take the responsibility as serious. And so when it's time to give input, there might be a for lack of better words, a more ignorant response or a more ignorant answer. And at the end of the day, that gets nobody anywhere. This is What School Didn't Teach Me, a podcast meant to build community on all the things school doesn't prepare you for. Hi, I'm your host, Jasmine Kiamber, and class is in session. Welcome to the classroom. It's your host, Jasmine Kiamber, and class is in session. If this is your first time here, welcome. What School Didn't Teach Me is a podcast where we are here to build community. I started this podcast because I was in school and I was watching everybody go through life, but nobody was talking about what we were going through. And I thought, how much more valuable, how much more efficient will we be if we actually talked about the things that we were going through? You know what I'm saying? We have this idea that we are supposed to wake up one morning and we're just supposed to know what to do. We're supposed to just understand what life is, what we're supposed to do, how to have certain boundaries, how to, budget and finance and all of these things. But that's simply not the case. And so I think it is much more effective if we come and talk about these things together. So if this is your first time here, welcome. If you are an OG classmate, you already know how I feel about you. I love you down. The theme for this season is represent and represent. So it's been really, really important to me to talk about different forms of representation, to talk about how important it is to just show up and to acknowledge the fact that it takes time to become the person you want to be. And so we have had some amazing guests. We've had some amazing conversations this season. And so I'm not gonna tally any longer. I have an amazing guest with me today, a guest who the accolades go on and on and on. And so I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, because we could go undergrad accolades and graduate accolades and beyond, and even before. So I'm gonna let Traelon Rodgers Esq introduce himself.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever this is going to be released. But yeah, I mean, I'm just Traelon, born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. I'm just a boy chasing a dream. So that's all I am, and I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here, Traelon.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. Okay, you're a boy chasing the dream. Tell us more. Tell us more about who you are. Tell us more about who is Traelon.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's deep, but I don't know. I'm shaped by. We all are. I'm shaped by my experiences, my lived experiences, while also bridging that gap between where I am and where I want to be, based on what I was given and what I've taken in life. Just certain things I can't control who I was born to and what I was born into. Not that there's anything wrong with. I love my parents in my life, my family. Um, but who you're born into, and then who you want to be. So all that to say that I am, I'm 25. I'm a Black man, born and raised here in Texas, Dallas, Texas. I had the privilege of going to an HBCU, Dillard University.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, where I was able to just really be immersed in just Black excellence in my culture, and then I left there and went to the Wild Wild West for 3 years at Berkeley Law, and now I'm back home. So civil rights is my thing. Fishing and outdoors, that's my thing, and I'm just out here living my best life, trying to make God happy and make myself happy. So.
Oh, that last part was sweet, actually. That was sweet. How often do you go fishing? And do you go fishing like with people or by yourself?
So I'm a by myself fisher. So I'll answer
Oh,
the second question first. I'm by
Jesus,
myself
Traelon.
because well, number one, I'm an only child, but number two, like I don't want you talking to me while I'm trying to fish because I
Oh,
don't go.
Traelon.
I go for the peace, and like talking is not peaceful. Like that's not. There's no like I don't want to know. I don't want you to be like, oh, why did you do that, or like anyway. So. I don't go as often as I used to because I just don't make time for it as much as I used to. As much as I would like to, I'll put that. But yeah, so
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the fishing. Who taught you how to fish? Because I used to want to learn how to fish when I was little, and
yeah,
then nobody ever taught me. But who taught you how to fish?
yeah. So it was my granddad, like my maternal grandfather. He loved it. Like that's what we did. Like we would go fishing and just be there for hours. But we would always get up early, like 5 or 6, and then we'll like get our stuff ready because it's best in the morning. So we just sit out there and we leave around 12 o'clock. We'd like eat food out there, just chill, sit there and watch the sun come up, catch the breeze, catch the fish. Sometimes we keep them, sometimes we throw them back. But yeah,
Okay. And he
yeah.
wasn't a talker.
He was a talker, but not when we were fishing. Like it's just like he would always say like the fish could tell the vibrations. I don't know that that's true, but
No, I believe it.
that's what is like. Yeah, well, you want to be quiet so they don't. I don't know. I don't know if that was just something to shut me up, but it worked. Like because I wanted to catch it, so I'm sitting there quiet, so I don't mess up. But it was just peaceful. Like you just go out there and it's like literally nothing to do but watch the water, the waves in the water, and just wait. And like you're not just catching the fish just like as soon as you throw it out there. So you got to wait. And if you're just talking the whole time, you're not paying attention to the line. So you just sit there in silence, think. Yeah. And that's what I like to do. So I've gone in a group before, and I've even gone as a date, and it was like, because I'm really out here fishing, and then like I can't fish if I have to go change your line every 5 seconds, or it's like no, it's not peaceful.
God.
That's work.
So you're not willing to like okay, so you're here as a date. You're not willing to like teach somebody how to fish. It's like no, I'm here to fish.
If I go with the understanding that that this is gonna be a lesson, sure, yeah. But I did not go with that. Like this was like supposed to be relaxation, not like a lesson. Like it wasn't a fishing lesson.
Okay.
That wasn't the vibe. It ended up being what happened, but it wasn't supposed to be.
Okay.
No,
okay.
It wasn't supposed to be.
Okay. Respect.
Yeah.
So I will not be asking you to teach me how to fish, and now I know when you're fishing.
If you like, I'll help you out. Like I'll give you the basics. Sit there for a little bit. But you gotta fly on your own. Like you gotta get out there.
Okay.
So like I'll give you the basics. I'll hold your hand for like an hour. After that, no more hand holding. You just gotta do it. You gotta get like Nike.
But it don't seem hard. It seems like and I've never fished, but it seems like you throw the line and you sit and wait, and then you pull the line when the fish is there.
Right. Yeah. But then like, let's say they bite your line, or let's say you get stuck on a tree, or let's say you
on a tree.
Yeah, like a limb at the bottom of the lake or wherever. Yeah, yeah. So just like different things that you don't expect, and then you wouldn't know automatically how to put, how to put your fix your line back again. Like if your line breaks, you ain't gonna put the weight and the hook and you know what I mean. So
okay, all of that makes sense. Okay,
yeah. So
see,
it's deep.
I just learned so
It's
much.
hard.
I learned so much about you, and I learned so much about fishing just in those 5 minutes, just in that
Yeah.
one phrase.
Well, that's for free. I'll get that to you for free.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll
Yeah.
tuck that in our pocket and keep that forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, okay, so, okay, okay. So, boom, you're trailing. You're 25. You went to a HBCU. You went to Berkeley. You went to Berkeley Law, and so now you practice civil rights advocacy. But civil rights advocacy is not something new to you. That's something that you've been a part of, or a part of, or active in for years. Can you tell us a little bit about like how you got introduced to advocacy? Because you was in like newspapers and stuff. I don't want you to like start downplaying yourself here.
Yeah. So that part was, it was birthed out of pain. Unfortunately, not necessarily pain for myself, but the pain that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2011, there was a black man in Georgia. His name is Troy Davis. He was executed by lethal injection by the state of Georgia because he was convicted of murdering police officers. And several of his witnesses recanted their testimony. So many folks, there was so much of the testimony evidence that did not make sense and didn't line up. And I remember as an 11-year-old at the time watching the TV with my mom, and I just remember like, wow, like in that moment I didn't see Troy. I saw like people I knew. Like in my head is like, this could be me, this could be my uncle, it just could be whoever you name it. And so she looked over and it's like she said, now this is America. She said, this is what happens. Um, this is what can happen to you. She said, so you know, choose the right path in life, choose the right thing. And she said, but also understand that bad things happen to good people. And so that was the first moment. And then I remember again when Trayvon Martin died, was killed a year later. And 2 years later, there was Mike Brown in Ferguson. That was my first protest. And I remember marching here in Dallas outside the American Airlines Center, and I had a sign. I felt pride in that moment. Not pride. I was proud that I was doing something,
Yeah.
but I was saddened because I had to do it. And then in 2017, there was a black boy about 30 miles east of here, I think it was either Mesquite or Balk Springs, but I sort of forget right now. But his name is Jordan Edwards. He was 15 and I was 17 at the time. I was president of Dallas NAACP Youth Council, and the officer, Roy Oliver, went into his trunk, grabbed I believe it was a rifle, and shot in the car blindly. And the reason he was there was because they got a noise complaint. There was a house party, got a noise complaint. Jordan, his brother, and I believe his cousin were leaving. And as they were backing out, the police thought that they were going to, I guess, run them over. So he got his rifle and shot in the car and ended up killing Jordan. And at the time, like I said, I was youth council president for the NAACP in Dallas. And I remember going to his funeral. And as I walked around the casket, I just remember how swollen his head was. And we had several friends in common. I didn't know Jordan, but I knew several people who knew Jordan. And the pastor who did the eulogy made an analogy to Popeye the Sailor Man, and Popeye's like, "Me can't stand no more. I've taken all I can take," and I remember that, and it was like for me, like I can't take anymore either. So what do I do? And so after that, I've led several protests, done a lot of organizing, a lot of movement, and it just became so deeply ingrained in who I am because of those experiences. And it's not that I want that to be my life or that I want to be doing these things, but I don't have an option because these are just the cards that I've been dealt. So this is that part where I'm talking about like bridging like what I've gotten to what I want, and this is what I've gotten. Like this is what I was given. This was the world I was given. This was the situation I was given. This was the skin color I was given, and this is the gender I was given. And so, like, how do I make the things that I've been given match the things that I want? And so that's just how I've gotten to that point. That's how I got to that point where advocacy and organizing was a part of my life.
Wow. Wow. I guess I never heard you explain it. I never heard you explain it that way. And I guess because we were in a space where law was everybody's passion, and so nobody ever really asked why. You know what I'm saying? But it was always something special about how you presented law, because it truly did seem like, okay, this is deeper than just wanting justice for small things. Like, you have been doing this for years, and there's a reason why law is so ingrained in you. And so I to hear you even list the names of these victims one by one is like, okay, like, this is quite literally a part of your story.
Yeah,
Because I remember, and I didn't realize how deeply it affected me until I was pushed to remember. But I was at an open mic night, and they were asking us kind of like, what is the definition of freedom? What is the definition of freedom, and how we knew we weren't free? And it was like, it was Juneteenth. We were like doing an open writing prompt, and I realized like Trayvon Martin was really my eye opener, because that's as early as I can remember, my eye opener to like, okay, we are different and we are not necessarily protected. And at the time, to a degree, I think I was 9. If I think I was about 9. And so to a degree, of course, a certain level of fear, but almost this certain level of helplessness, as like, okay, people can just do anything to us. But when you
yeah,
step into a role of advocacy, you are literally proving, no, you can't. Right? Like, you
yeah,
can't just do anything, and I can do something about it. And so the fact that you were able to take your pain, because it's okay for that to be what it is. The fact that you were able to take that and to not necessarily internalize it and turn it into helplessness, but instead push it into being something that is bigger than yourself, is extremely admirable, and something that
yeah.
not a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think folks don't have anything. I think the issue now with I hate to be like with our generation, but like, yeah, the issue with our generation is that we die on hills that we shouldn't have been on in the first place. Like, you don't have any business standing on the hill, let alone dying on it. So we don't die. We don't like. There are things that there are hills that I'm willing to die on, and causes that I'm willing to die for. I don't think that we have enough that we're willing to
Yeah,
I won't say die for, but at least sacrifice for.
I agree.
And because we're all trying to get to where we want to get to,
Yes.
we are more concerned about how can I get to where I'm trying to get to without regard for the human good. I mean, just life, other people's lives.
Yes. They I
Yeah,
think they I think they literally call our generation a narcissistic generation, because we are
yeah,
so self-motivated and so self-centered, and not even like, and I say that in a very like literal way.
yeah,
What do I want? What do I need? How do I feel? Not necessarily. And it's so crazy, because when we were growing up, we were taught, you may only be like, we had those phrases, you may only be one person, but one person can change the world. And it's like,
yeah,
we took that, and I don't know what we did with it, but it
yeah,
became, oh, okay, well, everything is all about my world. How can I make sure that my bubble and my box is comfortable? And meanwhile, once you step outside of your box, there's a whole world of things that
yeah.
need your attention and need your
Real
support.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real
Y-
stuff is going on outside of your world. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah.
Um yeah. Okay, so wait, tell me about the you getting into the, did you say it was the NAACP youth? What was it? A youth cohort? What was it?
Youth council. Yeah. So the NAACP has like 3 different types of like chapters. You've got the youth in college. I'm sorry. You've got the youth council, which is Oh man, you getting ready to make me lie. I forgot the ages. Anyway, some like I don't know,
It's okay.
but under the age of 18, I guess I think I'm
Hmm.
safe in saying that. And then you've got the college chapters, which you enrolled in college at that college
Hmm.
or university, and then you've got the adult branches, and those are they're open to anybody, but it's the adults, like the adults. There is no ceiling and there's no floor. So you can be as old as 100 and you can be as young as 1 day old. So those three. So I started. I reactivated the Dallas Youth Council. What that means is that it was basically had been sort of dormant for probably a decade, and so I started it back up and became the president.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was a whole process we went through, but anyway, we
oh
did
my
some good
gosh.
stuff.
Okay, that's huge.
And they're still active now. Said what's that? What 9 years later? Yeah, they're still going 9 years later. So yeah, no,
Oh
no,
well.
like not because of me, but they're still going 9 years later.
Well, I mean, I mean, you opened the door back up. How did you even, one, how did you find out about it? And how did you know you wanted to be a part? Like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
sure like these tragic things are happening, but like so is life. You know what I'm saying? So is
yeah,
life and you are growing up. So like what about the youth council or the NAACP youth council sparked your interest and let you know, okay, it might be down, but I want to pick it back up.
yeah. So they came to some representatives came to our school. Woman's name is Linda Lydia, whom I love dearly. She came to the school and was talking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this is it. This is good. I'm like, this some good stuff. So I'm like all grilling her, like, what about this and what about that? So then she's like, well, look, like take my information down. Let's talk. And she was just as serious as I was. So she followed up. We followed up. I went to the national convention in Cincinnati, Ohio that year in 2016. 2016. Um, I think that was 2016. Anyway, yeah. And the rest was history. Like from that point on, I went on to be the chair of the National Youth Work Committee, which is like the national, I guess, national board of directors for the youth and college division. And then I joined the actual board of directors for the association.
Oh wow.
And then I became the first person under the age of 25 to be an officer of the NAACP. So I did all that, and then I have been off the board now for 3 years. I left in 2022, and so it's been 3 years since I was on the board. But I was proud of what I was able to do on the board and the impact that I was able to have. So yeah.
So wait, so were you still active at Dillard while you were at Dillard?
Yes. So I was elected the assistant secretary for the national board in February of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that was your senior year, yeah?
it was. It
Okay, yeah.
was.
Oh
Yeah. So
wow.
my last year, I was on the board the entire time that I was at Dillard, but I
Wow.
became an officer in 2021.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Oh Lord, you have so you have so much
Uh,
going on.
I really had it bad then. Yeah.
You had what bad thing?
Everything. I just was like, yeah, I said yes to everything. I was SGA president, assistant secretary for the board, had a 4.0. I was doing stuff with my fraternity on the mock trial team. It was just, I just had it all going on, and it was all at once.
You know what? That is a very, very good segue because as you are talking, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like you are so accomplished. Like you have all of these things under your belt. You're so accomplished. And of course, naturally, these things have been a part of you for years. And so you talk about them naturally. But just in this moment, you're like, okay, like you have this habit of saying yes. So not necessarily like these things are a burden, but it's like you have you have so many accolades, but it's also like that weight can sometimes be heavy. Can
Hmm.
you talk to us a little bit about that? Talk to us about I don't know if you want to talk to us about your ability to say no or say yes, but talk to us just about what college was like, having your hand in so many things and still excelling at them, but that not being easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so number one, the first thing was that I had to determine what was important. Like I had to prioritize because I knew I never said no. I just had to prioritize. Like there was just things that I said yes to everything. It didn't matter what it was. Like you want to go help us pick up trash, and they was like, yeah, like
Oh God,
um,
why?
I know,
Why?
right? Like and I'm still a yes man, but I do less yes than I like. And I don't know if it's because I avoid people now, but but like in college, so at 21, I had a doctor's appointment in the in January of 2021, and I was pre-diabetic,
Oh.
high blood pressure, and high cholesterol at 21 years old. So I had to just like do a deep dive and just say to myself, okay, is this what you want? Like you want to be on high blood pressure pills for 30 or 40 years? I think and the answer was no. Like it was a wake up call for me. Like, all right, Traylon, like you gotta at some point you gotta say no. So thank God iPhone had like D&D. It wasn't like it was kind of new, I guess, newish, or maybe it wasn't new, but it was new to me. So I started using it because
That is such a problem. I knew somebody who like just said yes to everything, and I literally people know me as the D&D queen because my phone
yeah,
is on do not disturb all the time, and I literally would just be like, hey, just
yeah,
click that little button,
yeah,
and you just get some peace in your mind for 5 minutes, and they'll be like, I don't know how to use it. Oh my God, y'all, please
that was
use the
me.
D&D on your phone.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
nothing is
use
that
it
important.
during the daytime ever. Well, I shouldn't say ever, but mostly I don't. But at nighttime, it's locked down. Like you cannot get through. I mean, there is no notify any. There's nothing. I mean, but what do you need from me between 9:30? I go to bed at about 9:30 and I wake up at 4:45. What do you need from me between those hours? Like when I wake up at 4:45, I will get back to you, or just hit me up at 9:15. I'll be up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They said once we get to
So
that 928, you need to go ahead and shut
like,
it down.
I mean, I'm the type of person when my head hits the pillows, I'm out. Like I don't play around.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Right.
so okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so why, Traylon? Like, why were you saying yes to everything? Like, I, I mean, yeah, why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think because why else would they be asking me if they didn't want me to, right? Like if you didn't want me to participate, you wouldn't have asked me. Because generally, folks don't ask me like as a like, hey, by the way, like I'm having a birthday party tonight. Like I invited 100 people, but 15 said no, so now I'm extending the invite. Like I don't generally have those kind of things. And when
Right.
I do, I'm like, well, no, you didn't want to invite me as the 100. So like that's easy to say no. But if you're like, hey, I've got 100 spots, like 1,000 people want to come, I really would like for you to be there. Would you come? And then for me, I'm big on support. So like I want to support everybody in any well, I should say anything. I want to support everybody in doing when they're doing good things. No matter if I like met you 10 years ago, like at the grocery store and we've kept in contact since then, and you're like, oh, I'm getting married, like I'm like, all right, cool, I can't make the wedding, but like send me your registry. Like, right. So I don't know. I just feel like I guess I have like this superhero complex where I feel like I can do everything. I know it's not. I know I don't. I know I cannot, but I think I can. So
Hmm.
maybe that's
That's
all that
a.
matters.
You say what?
I said maybe that's all that matters. I don't know. Maybe the fact that I think I can be a superhero is all that matters.
No.
It's
I
not.
mean,
It sounds good.
I mean, first of all, one, thank you for sharing. Like, it takes a lot to be, to be open and honest and vulnerable. And I completely understand because probably prior to Dillard, I think Dillard is what taught me to say no because it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know how the heck you did it because mock trial had me wanting to like cut off all communications with everybody. So it was like really having some things that I was stuck to, and then realizing not how much, but realizing that it was costing me to do some things that I did not necessarily prioritize, made me be
Mhm.
like, okay, like I have to say no to everybody. And so now I literally will be like, I have to pray before I tell you yes, because if I tell you yes and then I can't make it, I'm gonna be so sad and I'm gonna feel like I have to overcompensate or something. When the truth of the matter is, I should have just considered myself first.
Yeah.
So no, I definitely understand, and I've been there. Um, and I think it's sweet that you want to support people. Like I literally cannot fault you for that. I think it's sweet that you want to support people.
Yeah.
But also, please don't be like, you have so much life to live. You have so much life to live. Please don't be pre-diabetic. Please don't die high cholesterol. That's literally the silent killer.
Thank
Black
God
people are
I'm
known
good
for.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I prioritize my workouts and I prioritize my sleep. Like two things I'm gonna do in a day is sleep and workout. So
Okay. Okay. Do you and this has nothing to do with the nitty gritty that I'm trying to get into, but I'm genuinely curious. Do you have time for like naps in your
no,
day? No.
I'm an anti-napper.
Anti napper.
Yes, I never take naps ever, ever, ever.
Not even on like a Saturday.
I, I wish I'm not even home on Saturday. I can't name you the
Oh
last time I was
Jesus.
at home on a Saturday. The only opportunity for me to take a nap is on a Sunday afternoon. And by that point, I am so focused on getting myself ready
Oh,
for
Traelon.
Monday. So like I'm cleaning, I'm folding, I may cook, I may not cook, or like maybe just like watching a quick movie because I don't really get to watch TV during the weekdays. So Sunday, that's it. So I'm watching TV, I like watch a movie, and yeah, but no, I don't no naps, no naps. I wouldn't. I don't like naps. I wake up and I'm like confused. And and if I do take a nap, I don't take a longer than 30-minute nap because
Oh.
you sleep longer than 30 minutes, I'm gonna be up at night. So
Oh, okay. I need like 30 minutes is cute, but I need like an hour or two.
oh God, no.
And I feel like
I sleep an hour or two. You may as well we may as well go out to the club tonight because I'm gonna be up. So
oh my
like yeah,
gosh. Oh heck no.
mm,
I don't know why it is. I don't know why my body craves sleep so much, but I will nap and then like do whatever I need to do and then I'll go to sleep for the night. Like I will I'm done. I'm finito. Like everybody who knows me, and I get it from my mom. Everybody who knows
yeah,
me, my family knows that like y'all will be partying in the front, and then me and my mom will go to the back and we'll like nap, and
really.
then we'll be back out. But I realize not everybody likes naps, or not everybody has the privilege of taking naps, but not everybody like likes naps, and I just don't
Yeah.
understand it because
I don't have the privilege, but I also don't like them. Like if I did, I
uh,
wouldn't.
I don't even understand that. I,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
But I get that like at the party, like I'm the one that's like, all right, it's like 9:45. It's been fun.
I've got to
Yeah.
go.
I'm the front half. Like I show up
Yes.
like I show up early. I'm like, you need me help put this stuff out? And it's like, oh, I was at such and such parties last week. I didn't see you. What time did you get there? 11. Oh yeah. I was
That
gone
was
by
good
then.
and gone. Good and
Yeah,
gone.
like I was probably asleep by then. So
Oh,
yeah.
you're better than me. I unfortunately will be like an hour late and then will
Okay.
leave. I'll leave an hour before it's over. You got me
Well,
for a good middle. You got me for a good middle, and then I'm grown. Like
yeah,
my friends and I, it's so funny because now that I'm like in college, I used to just be able to like be up all night and then like still get up and do everything I had to do and da da da. I don't know what happened to me because
yeah,
I'm not that much older, but now I can like I have to be in the bed by like 10, 11. And I was just talking to my friends and we were talking about like we go to a poetry night on Wednesdays and how that is now my like my party night, my late night. Like
yeah,
I go to the poetry night and they got me from 8 to 10. And after that, don't ask me about nothing. I don't that is the only night that I'm willing to like be up super late. Don't ask me to go out on a Saturday night. None of that.
yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
You know, I get it.
Okay. Boom. Back to our questions. So I usually come on and I tell people why I feel like they are a form of representation, why I feel like it's important for me to talk to them. Not why I feel like it's important for me to talk to them, but why I feel like it's important for their voice to be on the pod. But I want to switch because I want to give you the opportunity to kind of tell us, not like, oh, you have, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of express, one, if you feel like you are a form of representation, why and how, but then why you feel like that kind of representation is important as well.
Mm, yeah, wow, yeah. So yes, the short answer is yes, but I think in many ways. So, like number one, like bottom line, like foundationally for me, my goal every day is to represent Christ. Like that's for me, that's number one. How will I do that? I do not know. I don't know. I don't cuss people out when they deserve it. So I think
Amen.
that deserves a little credit. When I should, but they deserve it. They need it. Somebody's got to do it, but I don't. So I deserve a little credit for
I'm
that.
sure he's proud.
I hope so because if it all when it's all said and done, he like, yeah, you can't make it. I'm be like, I should have just no.
Should just
Um,
did it anyway.
yeah, I should have cussed him out. But anyway, I'm just kidding. But so yeah, that's number one. Number two, this is gonna sound bad, but I'll have an audience. Black people in white spaces become the speaker of Black people. We become the representative for Black people.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. I've been asked several times, well, what do you think? And not because they just value my opinion as a person, but because they value my opinion as a
As a
Black man.
Black person, yeah.
And I say to them, I didn't get a license. I didn't get elected. I don't have a special pass to tell you what Black people think about this issue. What I can tell you is how Black people have been and will probably be impacted by this decision. I can tell you based on lived experiences and history how this decision has impacted me or impacted my people historically. But I'm not going to give you an opinion on what Black people need or how Black people will feel based on X, Y, Z. But I am no fool, and I recognize that I am a representative in those spaces. And so, as much as I want to deflect and say, hey, we're not a monolith, we don't all think the same, we don't all want the same thing, I attempt to do the best I can to make us feel seen while also letting them know that, like, just because I'm Black don't mean I'm the representative. And then the third place, I mean, sort of sounds harsh, but it's true. The third
No,
place
it
is that
doesn't.
the third thing is that I feel that in the profession, it takes a certain level of cultural competency to Lorraine Hansberry, the author of A Raisin in the Sun, says that when you measure somebody, and I'm paraphrasing, she says, when you start to measure somebody, make sure you take into account all the hills and valleys they've gone through to get to where they are. So often, people do not recognize what it took for people to get to this moment. So I see defendants in court all the time who, I'm saying all the time, like it is all the time now, but it has not been all the time, obviously, but it's all the time now, who ended up in situations that one wrong thing has led to them being a career criminal. But all it takes is like that one person who can understand not why they did what they did, but
Yeah.
how easy it was for them to do what they did.
Yeah.
Because, so many of those folks that I see didn't graduate from high school, let alone college. And at 41 years old, they don't have a GED or they don't have this or that. So it's easy for them to do it. And so I represent in that way because I'm able to place I don't leave my my common sense at the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those three ways are ways that I represent. Well, I guess also, I can't neglect this, but I'm always making sure that young folks are heard in rooms where they are not represented. So when young folks like us are not represented in the room, but I've got access to somebody in the room, I'm a representative then. Like, I'm going to tell you that young people need to be in the room. They need to be heard. We need to be seen. We need to be felt. And more importantly, we need to be seated at the table. So those four ways.
How often do you feel, well, one, thank you. How often do you feel like young people are not placed in rooms that they should be?
Oh, I mean, more often than not. I mean, I ran for the position that I got, the assistant secretary position. There are the NAACP has four officers. They've got the chairman, the vice chairman, the assistant secretary, and the assistant treasurer. Well, actually, they have the treasurer. They got five: chair, vice chair, treasurer, treasurer, and assistant secretary. The secretary is the general counsel for the association. So,
Okay.
in terms of officers, there are five, and they make the decisions on how much the president's salary is going to be, what contracts we're going to take, like the major moves that we're going to take. They vote on it and then bring it to the board, the larger board. I ran for that position against a guy who had the support of the chairman and a guy who had been on the board much longer than I have and was the current assistant secretary. And he's like, I don't know, 40 or 50 years my senior. Well, I shouldn't say 40, 50, maybe 40 years my senior. And I ran because they weren't listening to what we were saying. It was a bold move. It took a lot of strength and it took a lot of effort, teamwork to get for me to win. But I did it because I knew we weren't being heard. And we felt it, we saw it, we would speak, and then they do the opposite. And that's not just the NAACP, that's like
Everywhere.
across the board, it's
Yeah.
everywhere. Young people are saying what we want, what we need, but because we don't have the money that older folks have,
Yeah.
or because we don't have the wisdom, which I guess collectively we don't have the wisdom that older folks have, because we haven't lived enough life, they think that our opinions are invalid, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
not invalid, but maybe are not valuable. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I put, sort of frame the messages is that I don't know more than you, likely.
Mm-hmm.
I have not lived longer than you, certainly, and I may not have more wisdom than you or financial resources. But what
Mm-hmm.
I do have is an opinion that you no longer have. You've been young,
Mm-hmm.
but you haven't been young in this generation. You know, you know what young people used to want. You know what young people used to do.
Yeah.
But I have a perspective that is unique and is valuable, not just because I'm young, but because I'm young and I understand. Um, and because I can be young and still understand every issue that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, if there are areas that you think I lack, let's work together and I'll help you and you'll help
Yeah.
me. And
That,
so instead of
yeah.
seeing it as a partnership, they see it as like a threat or like
You trying to be
a
disrespectful in
nuisance.
a way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I love the fact that you mentioned, right, like let's work together, let's learn from each other, because that's exactly what was on my mind. I was talking to I had one of my friends on here, Julia Davis, on
Hmm.
here. I want to say by the time this episode comes out, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago or two three
Okay.
episodes ago. That episode hasn't come out while we were recording, but we were talking about, like, she and I both work with young people, and so we were talking about just some of the ways that we, even though we are young, some of the ways that we use our youth to our advantage when we are working with middle schoolers, high schoolers, elementary school students, and how we connect with them. And so one of the things that we literally pointed out was how often young people's experiences are invalidated. Like literally what you just said, how, it's often like, you haven't lived enough life yet, you don't have the wisdom that we have, when the truth is, like, you uh, you say I don't have the wisdom, but let there be an issue with something technological, and who are you calling, in a way, like, and you don't say that to be disrespectful, you say that to say there are things we can learn from each other. You may feel like I haven't lived enough life yet, however there are things that we can exchange. I have lived a life that you quite literally have not. you know? And I know, like, you know, one thing my dad used to say is like, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I know that's a very common saying. But he would say it as it relates to time. But the truth is, things are changing a whole lot. You know, things are
Yeah.
changing a whole lot, and there is a perspective that you can add. Yeah. So thank you for being the young people's advocate. Um,
Hey.
I'm looking down and I'm writing as you are talking, because that is just what I do to make sure that I am still following the conversation. Because one of the roles that you mentioned was being a Black person in white spaces, and I did not expect you to mention that role. But I want to acknowledge how being a Black person in a white space is a huge responsibility. Like, as you were talking, it made me realize that you have to take a conscious effort to you have to make a conscious effort to be in a space and to not just speak for yourself, but to speak for the people who are not in the room with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Even though you can't represent all Black people, it's like, okay, they are still looking to you for that insight. Whereas not a lot of people, but there are people who may not take the responsibility as serious. And so when it's time to give input, there might be a um for lack of better words, a more ignorant response or a more ignorant answer. And at the end of the day, that gets nobody anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to acknowledge that that was a huge responsibility to take on.
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to. I mean, we all do it. We all are that person at some point, unless you just only operate in Black spaces, and that's fine too. But I don't think that gets you where you want to be.
Oh Lord, Traelon, please. Okay. Um okay, boom. And then boom, about your profession. I feel like that was why I think that was where I found my passion for law. Like, I wanted to go to law school, of course, because somebody, you know, somebody looks at you and they say, like, you know, you should be a lawyer. But I think I remember being in an English class in the 10th grade, and we were talking about child murderers, and we were talking about like youth who had either like killed their parents, or youth who no, we were talking about criminals, or like juvenile criminals is what like the article was called. And so we were talking about, or the series was called, and it was like either children who had killed their parents, or children who were like habitual thieves, or, you know, like whatever the crime was that they were being charged with, and then like how we would respond to it, what circumstances we were seeing in the article, and how we would respond. And it was so, of course, you know, not of course, but my school was in a predominantly Black and brown area. And so we were
Mhm.
hyper aware, hyper considerate. Some of us, not all of us, were hyper aware and hyper considerate of the circumstances that would cause someone, you know, like a child doesn't just steal a car for no reason. You know what I'm saying? A
Right.
child does not just harm someone for no reason. However, they were being charged as if, you know, and yeah, they were being charged as if there were no external circumstances that caused them to do what they do.
Right.
Um, and that I think that that is where I think us having that conversation of, okay, well, you know, well, this well, the young man who killed his mom, it was like we could justify it, but either way, it was sad and it was wrong. But it was like, you know, the like it was like he didn't feel heard. He had mental health issues and he did not feel heard, and so he did what made him feel heard.
What he thought was necessary. Yeah.
You said what?
What he thought was necessary.
What he thought was necessary. And as a mental health advocate, I completely, I understand why he felt like that was necessary, because
Right.
he felt like he needed to do something extreme. Does that make it right? No. But when you don't have people in the room who can acknowledge that there are external circumstances that make people feel like they have to do drastic things.
I'm not like I'm not like partnering with them, but it really takes a lot of effort to understand people,
Yeah.
to make people feel seen.
Okay, tell us
Yeah.
about that book. Because
Well,
I've never seen that book.
yeah. So it's a book by David Brooks. David Brooks is a uh, I think a journalist for the New York Times. But anyway, it
Oh,
talks about you know about how you it sort of levels up. Number one, it levels up your intelligence, emotional intelligence, and how to not just talk to people and hear them, but how to understand them, how to affirm them, how to reassure them that you are listening, while also being vulnerable and being seen yourself, like
hmm.
reciprocating what you're putting out, but in a way that's healthy. Um, so, I mean, I got it sitting right here because I don't know why I have it sitting right here, but I read it a while back. I read it last year, but yeah, I mean, it takes intentional effort. Like it's not something that I do not do the best at making people feel seen. Like I'm not the best with understanding people automatically, but it takes effort. And whether you're a man or a woman or white or black, whatever it is, we've all got to put an effort to understand and see what we aren't. Like
Yeah.
we can all talk about what we are and how different we are,
Yeah.
but let's figure out the common goals. I mean, the commonalities, and meet there. Yeah,
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. That I'm gonna have to read that book because the exchange of making other people feel seen and then feeling seen yourself is not always an easy one. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to write that down.
yeah,
Um, okay, so boom. We know when you go to law school, people always ask you about your why. And you told us a little bit about your why, but I'm sure your journey to getting where you are was not easy.
hmm
Um, and with the responsibility that you have, it's especially not easy. And with you being the form of representation that you are, you still have a responsibility. And so I wanted you to tell us a little bit about like kind of what keeps you pushing and why you feel like it's still important to persevere. Um, yeah, to get where you feel like you want to be.
yeah. One thing I always tell people when they tell me they want to go to law school, I tell them to figure out what their why is.
Oh, Traylon, that's such a normal answer. Okay, yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, because your why will either keep you in school or your why will send you home. Because when you're up in the middle of the night, you hadn't had sleep, and when you did have sleep, it was for 4 or 5 hours, and you're reading 300 or 400 pages just to go to class the next day. Because the fact that you want to make money is not going to be a good enough reason to keep you doing what you're doing. Because you do it for 6 semesters, um, you do it for 14 weeks each semester for 3 years straight. You don't get a break. You don't get to just like chill out, like, oh, I don't want to do it today. And you get graded on one thing every single semester. And most schools are on a curve. So if your why is that you want to get money, you will not survive. So for me, my why was strong enough for me to stick with it, because I had to be honest with myself and figure out, like, look, this, like, it has to happen. It literally, there is not an option. There's not a scenario in which you do not finish. Um, and for me, there were so many moments where I never thought about quitting, but there were so many moments where I felt like, maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. Not
Hmm.
because I was black, or because I um, uh, went to an HBCU, or fill in the blank. But it was just because it was just so hard, and I thought that I was the only one who wasn't getting it. But I found out that there were more of us who didn't get it than who did,
Hmm.
and so um, I sort of forgot the question, but yeah.
Why do you feel like why do you feel like it's important to persevere.
Yeah. Yes, I always tell people there is somebody somewhere who is counting on you to do what you're doing in this very moment. Not when
Mm-hmm.
I like to say, not when you get your life right with Jesus, because that's what we like. Well,
That's
I,
yeah.
I'm gonna do right when fill in the blank. I'm gonna do better when I get money, or I'm gonna do better when I in next Monday or after January 1st, like whatever the fill in the blank. There is somebody counting on you to do what you're doing at this very moment so that they can do what they want to do. I don't
Yeah.
care if you are literally a high school student. Somebody somewhere is counting on the high school student to be the best version of themselves or to do what they're doing because they're coming behind them or because they're counting on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And so somebody somewhere is counting on me to do what I've got to do. And I don't know who that somebody is. I don't know where that somebody is, but I know that there is at least one person, and it applies to everybody. And so that alone was enough for me to say, if for no other reason, I'm going to finish because there are people who will come behind me who will be glad that I did, that I knocked down this door, or that I called that person out for doing this thing wrong, or that I suggested this thing that's going to be transformative that was not there originally, or that I made this connection that they can use later on. Life is about, we are all in seats.
Yeah.
And, there's this saying that, or a quote that goes, service is the rent we pay um, for life here on earth. But I think that each moment I'm in a different seat, metaphorically speaking, in a different seat. And the seat may be larger, it may be smaller, it may be hot, it may be cold, it may be hard, but whatever it is, it's my job to make the seat better than when I sat in it,
Yeah.
when I first sat in it. And so that's my goal wherever I go. So I kept going because I knew that somebody was counting on me. I don't know who, I don't know where, but somebody is. So
I think I think that's really good. In the middle of you talking, I thought about all the times that we kind of, you ever been in a situation where you like somebody, I guess like when a teacher asks if anybody has a question and nobody raises their hand, but you have
yeah,
a question, you raise your hand, you ask, and somebody else is like, "Oh my God, thank you," because that was my exact same question. It almost reminds me of course, that in a much much larger sense or a larger scale, but it's like a lot of the, not a lot, everything that we do, is so much bigger than us.
yeah,
Everything that we do is quite literally outside of us or not about us. Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, that's real. I mean, like, yeah, that's a perfect analogy because we all want to know what it took to get there, or what step did I miss on that problem, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we, like, some of us don't have it to say, and I don't mind. Like, I'll be the dummy. Like, you can call me what you want to call me, but you won't see me flunking out. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be in class. So
um Dang, something else just came up, but I want to be respectful of the time that we have. I would like to know, this is a good question because we've talked about this before, and this is now a revisit because we haven't talked about it since. I would like to know um how you maintained your mental health as like, I mean, it's still an ongoing journey, but
mhm.
like, life is not easy. And so, how
Yeah.
do you maintain your mental health now with everything that you see, everything you are going through, and everything that is already on your plate? What are some things that you use to prioritize that?
Now
Yes.
or yeah.
No, now.
Um, yeah, I mean, I go to
Oh,
therapy. I have conversations with my friends. I'm a writer. I shouldn't say that. I'm probably being I'm probably overstating. I like to write. Whether I'm a writer or not is a different story. I like to write.
you write and you share on Medium. So,
Yes.
I mean,
So
those blogs get serious. Yeah, I
they
be
do.
reading them.
Yeah. So well, thanks. Yeah. So yeah. So sometimes I write. I talk to people. I have a therapist. I go to church. I pray. I do devotionals. So I try to do whatever I can. I work out. That's a big thing too. So all of those things combined, I have a little libation here or there, so most times straight, with a little ice on the
No
rocks,
fruity, nothing.
you
Uh-huh.
know. So yeah, all of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
yeah,
sorry. Not funny. Yes.
yeah,
Um what does the gym do for you? Because the last time we talked about it, I mean, not like the gym is supposed to do nothing, but the last time we talked about it, the gym was your like the gym. You talked about the gym before you talked about your therapist. So tell me what
yeah.
the gym does for you.
I mean, like, I don't have to. We don't have to coordinate. I don't have to see when you're free. I don't have to like. I just go, right. I can just like this morning. I woke up. I ran 2.5 miles, and I had that runner's high. Like it just boosted my day. I was good. Like my knees were hurting, but my mind
Oh,
was refreshed.
Traylon,
Like I
you
felt
getting
good.
old. Uh-huh.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. That's neither here nor there. But I am. Yeah. But yeah, like you just letting all that stress out. I don't know. I'm not a doctor or anything, but like I think it's like cortisol, like lowering your levels of stress, and getting those endorphins going and all that. Serotonin, etc. Like just all those hormones are just
Just running flying high.
yeah being regulated, and yeah. So
Okay. It's just
I
it's just right there. And it's I'm
yeah,
sure it's easier than talking to somebody.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And
it
that's
is. I
okay.
don't. I don't have to. I don't have to like. Yeah, I don't have to do anything
You don't have
besides
to, you don't have to
besides
say how you
run,
feel. You just run.
run or lift or whatever I'm feeling that day. I did not feel like lifting anything today. Tomorrow I do though. I'm already feeling it in my spirit for tomorrow. I'm gonna do some
It's
heavy
got that
lifting.
lifting spirit on you. Okay.
Yeah, it's all on me. It's all on me.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I also wanted to say I really appreciate the fact that you do right. Like Traylon, you're so unnecessarily mysterious. I mean, I understand that you're like busy. It's like you're so unnecessarily mysterious. It's so the fact that you write and you share um just some of your thoughts with us via, however you do. You had the Traylon Tyler, like you had the talks that you posted, and then you post on Medium, and you told all the old heads to find somewhere to be, on the old head press to find somewhere to be in an alum chapter.
essentially, yeah,
Yeah, and that is always it is hilariously refreshing to hear. I mean, even though you talk about like real genuine topics, it's just funny because it's you, and so when I read it, I can hear you saying it. It's
yeah.
like you're not being kind when you read this.
9 times out of 10, that is the best way I could say it. I've gone through and said, well, no, that's too much. Let me delete that because I just word vomit. Like I just put it all out there,
Hmm.
and then I delete as necessary because I'm like, yeah, that's a little too. That's gonna tick them off there. I want you to get to the end of it. I don't want you to get down like 75% and just be like, oh, this. So like, come on, like let me, and then I'll put it at the end. Like the one that I wrote about Dillard, I was like, there was just no way for me to.
Oh yes, and that one went completely viral. That one, it was like everywhere I turned, it was like, oh, okay.
It was my
Okay.
highest read. Yeah, like I got like 7,000 reads on that one. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so
Oh yeah, that one. But that was it's like that was rightfully infuriating. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you were talking about things that matter, and therefore, if you make a couple people mad, if a couple people don't get to the end, you can't make everybody happy.
yeah. No, I never cared. Well, I'm an only child. I don't need any new friends.
That is a very valid thing, Traylon.
Yeah,
Do you know what? Okay, boom. Okay. Um before I ask my quirky question, because I like to ask a quirky question. I have two for you. But before I ask my quirky question, because I like to ask a quirky question at the end, to just give us a better sense of who you are, and to kind of throw you completely left field from what we've been talking about, I want to ask, is there anything specifically on your heart or on your mind to share with us?
Yeah, as a general matter, there is a man. I forget where she's from. Anyway, her name's Olga Tcharka. She says she talks about tenderness. She this was in her Nobel acceptance of her Nobel Peace Prize, and she says that tenderness is, I'm paraphrasing, the essentially the commonalities. Like not tenderness is seeing the thing, not seeing the things that separate us, but the things that bring us together, the things that make us the same. In our current world, we are all divided by something,
Mm,
and we seek out our differences more than we seek out our similarities.
yeah.
Um, I, I grew up next door to a man who voted for every Republican from Reagan all the way to Mitt Romney. I do not know about 2016, and I prefer to keep it that way. But his kid and I, we went to school together. We went home we played basketball together. We would do everything together. Well, I shouldn't say everything. We did a lot together. And when we went outside our homes, our lives couldn't be any further from the same, right? Um, but in this current world and climate, I think it's more important for us to look at the things that we have in common. And that's not to say that you accept things that are not okay, but instead it's so easy for us to separate ourselves and to distinguish ourselves. But instead of trying to be like in a world where everyone tries to be different, find some way to be the same. Um, I can tell you a number of reasons why I'm different from you or the next person. But what I can tell you is that we both want to be appreciated, we both want to be understood, we both want to be successful. I mean, like there are so many things that I think we can say about it. And the more we talk and the more we uh, dig deeper, we I'm almost certain that it will be revealed that we want the same things. We may not agree how we want it or the root or where it should come from.
Yeah.
But as I said in an article recently, we can all agree that children should be educated. We can all agree that children should be able to go to school and they should be able to go to school for free. But we cannot all agree on how they should go to school for free. Whether we raise income taxes, whether we raise property taxes, whether we create vouchers or whether we privatize it. Like we just can't we can't come to a common ground on that. But what we can all agree on is that children should be educated. What we can all agree on is that people should be treated with with dignity and decency. And so, a long-winded to say what I'm about to say, and that is, find the similarities because we've got more than you think, and just go with it. Just live your life with those similarities and stop trying to be different. Like it's good to be different, but being different just complicates life because then you got to find a way to outdo yourself every time. If you're different, like it's like I got these out of the box nails this week, and so I got to outdo myself next week. When I could just get the regular whatevers, right? I could just wear the same thing that you're wearing and tell you look good in it because you probably do, like right.
I was with you until you said the nails, but that's only because I be wearing out of box nails. But
And then you probably sit there like, what am I gonna do?
I be like, oh, okay, what goes with like what goes with my next what's with my next season? You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
you
It
gotta
does.
outdo your own self.
Okay, that's true. It does complicate things.
And when you can just give French tip like everybody else.
Traelon, what if we don't want to be like everybody else? But
Oh well.
that's what I was just about to say. That goes exactly with what you're saying. You're right. Like
Yeah.
some of us quite literally, like it's nothing wrong with being different, but some people
It's
quite
not.
literally try to push
Right.
themselves outside of society and then be mad when they're isolated. I'm
Right.
with you.
Thank you, man. When you're isolated. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. You get it. You
I
get it.
do.
We
I do.
find more ways to isolate ourselves every day.
Yeah. Yeah. You know why I get it though? Because I used to be one that felt like I was so different and
Mm-hmm.
therefore pushed away like not normalcy, Jesus, but like pushed away like mainstream things, thinking that
Yeah.
that was not, but it took self-acceptance to really realize, no, we are so similar.
Right.
We are
And
so
and it's
similar.
okay to be different, but like you said, you like don't go out of your way to be different and don't
Right.
look for things that make you different. Oh,
That
I'm not gonna
separates
be
you.
her friend because, she's Mormon and I'm right. And it's like, girl, you don't even go to church. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Like
God.
you're a Christian, but when's the last time you read your Bible? So
No,
right, like,
yeah.
so why are you not being her friend because she's Mormon, but you hadn't even read your Bible, right? So it's like,
First of all, and in the Bible, it's like we supposed to be friends with. We supposed to be close to everybody, even if they're different than us. So
thank
yes,
you.
I'm
Yeah,
with you. I'm with
thank
you.
you.
Um, okay, boom. Are you ready for your quirky questions?
I think so. We'll see.
Okay. Okay, well the first one is easy because you already kind of hinted at it. Um, you're an only child, I'm an only child. And it was revealed to me that there's a certain thing as like only child things. So
Right.
like oldest children, like they have a tendency to maybe be a little controlling. Middle younger children, they have a tendency to be a little annoying. Middle children
Yeah.
have a tendency to be a little passive. What do you feel? And those are just examples, but it goes on beyond that. What do you feel like is your only child thing aside from what you've already shared, which is that you are okay being alone? Because I
Yeah.
I get that.
I am like the textbook definition of an only child. I do
Oh,
not want to share with you. I do not want you in my personal space. You cannot have a sip of my drink. I don't care if you think it looks so tasty. You cannot have a bite of my food. I know everything. I know where I placed everything. So even if you pick it up, I'm not gonna
oh,
move it.
that's one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I know. It's like, oh, how'd you know I had that? I was like, well, because I have it positioned a
It
certain
was
way. So
it
when
was
you moved it,
literally tilted to the right, and now it's tilted to the left. I know you touched it. Yes.
and when you moved
Yes.
it, you didn't put it back.
Yeah.
Yes, I did
Yeah.
it. No, 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 you did it. Yeah, like I do think like those things like that. I mean, it's partly only child, partly like OCD. Like I don't like numbers on the microwave. Like I want if you don't let the microwave finish, just cut it off. It will make me happy. So yeah, no, I'm like you can like no, you can't wear my clothes. What do you mean? Like no, hell, I mean, excuse me, no way, no,
that that happened to me for the first time at Dillard. And I mean,
yeah,
college is really what burst my bubble into like, okay, this is community. Like, this is what it means to be close to people. Because a girl came to, like, we was homegirls, but she came to my door and was just like, can I borrow a shirt? And I was like,
mm,
what the heck? And I gave it to her because it was like, yeah, like we're friends. But I definitely was like, I have never had an experience like that. Like I know siblings do this. They just go in their each other's closets. And I know in the movies,
they
girls
just
share
get it.
clothes.
They just take it.
I I have never had that kind of experience. And so having it was like, wow, I feel like I should burn this shirt now that I gave it to
Right,
you. But
right,
that is so drastic.
yeah,
I won't be that person. Yeah.
I will.
That sure did not make it. That sure didn't make it long, actually. I should have let
No,
her keep it, honestly. But yeah,
yeah, no. When I let you get something of mine, if
it's
I
yours.
yeah, you got it. You got it.
it,
And don't let it be something I really like. Oh, that is such a nice. It's like, oh yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna get you one. You'll have your own.
you,
You won't get it.
we
Oh, I
will
don't really
have
like it that much. I just want to wear it for the weekend. Well, I'm sorry. There's not an option. You'll have it your own, and you can wear it whatever weekend you want to wear it after it gets to me. After I
to.
get it in the mailbox.
Well, in what world is somebody okay with saying I want to wear it on X day, but never again? Because if I give it to you and then you want to wear it, and then you say, "Hey, man, remember that shirt you let me wear? Let me try." Why?
Yeah.
I feel like you're doing the right thing. I feel like you're
Yeah.
doing the right thing. Just get them one.
Yeah, because I'm not, you're not getting mine.
Yeah, no. I feel like that is my biggest thing as well. I like not sharing because I am okay with sharing. I think for a while it was stop. I think you know what I think it was for me though. I didn't know I was okay with sharing, but I didn't know how to verbalize when I was not okay with sharing. Like I didn't know how to say
That's my favorite
no.
part.
Traylon, you just
It
was talking
stays
about
right
how
here in the
you
back of my throat. Like,
no.
oh, can I have some of that? Hell no. You cannot. Give me a piece of gum. I'm like, if you know you like gum, why don't you buy gum at the store?
No, you can't be that. No, Traylon, you can't. No, you cannot be that bad. You can't be that one.
I
You
have
can't
people
be
that
that
say to me like,
one.
"Oh, I know you got some gum because you always have gum." And I say, "Yes, I
Not for
do."
you,
And if I always have gum, and you know you always want gum, you ought to start buying it.
Traylon. No, you can't. No, Traylon, because Black people are known for like hearing gum or hearing candy, and like you can't be that
And
way.
don't let me have asked you, do you want anything from the store? You
Oh,
want anything from the store? Oh, I'm okay. I come out with my bag of chips and my gum. Ooh, let me. It's like I offered to buy you some. You're not
it's,
getting any of these.
it's the way the gum is always included.
It's always gum. 9 times out of 10 is gum. It's gum.
Okay, do you like what kind of gum? Are you a spearmint or are you a
Five
peppermint?
spearmint every day.
You're fired. All right,
I
next.
get the 5 gum
You're done.
spearmint.
We don't have to.
I buy them 6 or 7 packs at a time. I keep a few in my car and I keep a few in the pantry. 5.
The pantry, like it's a
Yeah.
snack.
Well, no, I mean, where else am I supposed to keep it at? Like when I'm ready to go get another one in my bathroom?
Oh, okay. Okay, no, okay, that's valid. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm judging you for the spearmint, but that's just because I'm a peppermint. I'm a peppermint person. And
No.
spearmint is just too spice. It's too cutthroat. It's mean.
Peppermint is
Peppermint
like
is peppermint is nice. She wants to be eaten. Spearmint is like no. Like
spearmint is like if it's peppermint, I'm like nah.
my
I'll
gosh.
pass it. I'll pass it up.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, I think my only child thing, because I don't feel like I'm a poster child for only childness, because I am okay with sharing. Like I said, the hardest part for me was like knowing how to say no. Like I'll never forget. I talked about it on the pod before. I talked about it on the first episode of the pod. I had somebody ask me for a piece of candy that my mom got me, and it was when I first
Mm,
got to Dillard, and so she didn't gave it to me as a piece of her, and she's back in California, and the person asked if they could have some, and I was like, yes, but save me some, and they saved me one, and I wanted to slap them, like I wanted to
you
defriend
should.
them.
Yeah.
No, Traylon, I want to go to heaven. Mary, I want to go to
Yeah.
heaven.
But
Yes.
like I I think you can slap people and get away with it. I think you can
I
make um
that's valid. Jesus was turning over tables, but
he was not passive. Yeah, like Paul wasn't either. Paul said, "Do you want me to?"
no.
He's like, "You like be glad I'm writing these letters because otherwise,
Because
an alternative is that I'm
it
going to
would
come
be
out there." Yeah.
you are correct.
So
But I don't feel like Paul was always right. You know what I'm
I think
saying?
Peter
Paul was saying
was
some
stabbing.
wild
He was a
stuff.
stabber.
He kept a knife on hand. He did
Yeah.
slice some people up. Okay,
So
you're
yeah.
making valid points.
And I think Peter. I don't. I think yeah. Anyway, yeah. Peter's a saint. So all that to say that slap him. I would have. You should have.
No, I didn't, and I'm still friends with them. And they probably gonna listen to the pod and probably not even realize that I'm talking about them, because people tend to forget stuff like that. I don't, and
Well, God bless them because
I
they
don't
would know if
forget.
they were my friend.
But you know what? I took that as an opportunity to learn how to say no. And so now I'm very quick. I don't have it in the back of my throat like you, but I do have a I do make it a point to be like, I'm just not comfortable giving you that. I feel
Yeah.
like my only child thing that I know for sure is, yes, when somebody like picks up my belongings or when somebody touches my things, I know that you have touched them. I know that you have moved them. I know when things are not where I left them, and it
Yeah.
is infuriating. Like, even like, I still live with my mom, and so my mom, she might clean up something that I have, and I'm like, where is it? Because I put it where I could see it and you moved it, and I would hate for our relationship to end over my keys or
Yeah.
something. Like, I would love for us to figure out where they went. Um that was it. And then I remember my friends telling me like that I have a really bad habit of like going places and doing things without telling anybody. Like, I
I
will
do that
like
too.
pick up and leave. I'll pick up and leave. I'll leave the house. I'll leave town. I'll leave anywhere. And if you have my location, then you find out because you have my location. Otherwise, it's like, girl, where are you going? And I got confronted on it multiple times, and I guess nothing changed because I would like move. I would be at Jaimani. I would be at Jaimani's house,
Hmm.
and Jaimani would have it bad on telling me about myself. And so I remember I was in his apartment, and he was in the gardens, and I went upstairs, and we were all watching TV. Everybody was silent, and he was like, "Where you going?" And I was like, all right, praise the
Hey,
Lord.
wait a minute. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. Saints, I was making my clean break quietly. But that's just
Yeah.
because I feel like not everything needs, like, I don't need to announce, oh, I'm going to the store. Oh, I'm going upstairs. I don't think that's
Yeah.
necessary. I think I just need to do what I need to do. And
I agree.
then when you know, then I tell you.
Yeah. Like you find out. You find out. I'm not prohibiting you, but I'm not gonna announce it.
I'm not gonna announce it. But you know what? I feel like that hinders me now because I'll do stuff, and like I'll do stuff or get recognized for something or anything, and I will sit on it. Like my LinkedIn, I want to update my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn has nothing
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, I did it. It happened. Amen. We move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, I can relate to that too. I'm like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much so that people are like, oh, like why do you always come to events alone, or why do you always like yeah.
It's
If
it's
you
it's
find out, you find out. Like,
it's like a lot of people aren't even okay being by themselves. So it's like,
yeah.
oh, mm. I
Yeah.
could go on and on about it. Okay, boom. That was my first quirky question. Because you brought it up, it made me be like, oh, okay, I need to ask.
Yeah.
Two,
Okay.
um, what is a skill or a hobby that you would like to learn or pick up?
Yeah. So I guess I got two. Well, really three. So I can kind of like I can hold and understand conversations in Spanish, but I want to be fluent in it. So that's
Me too.
one. Two is I want to learn how to play golf, and three is I want to get better at playing the piano. So
You can play the piano?
I can read and I can pick the keys, but I can't like I'm not like I could play a song for you by reading it, but it would
Yeah.
take me so long. Yeah.
You think you would
So
like you think you would play for the church? You think you would really get in the Holy Ghost spirit?
yeah.
Never say never, Traylon. You
I didn't say never,
when
but
the
I
when the
said
Holy Ghost hits you,
yeah. I
you he
mean,
gonna put
yeah.
you on that keyboard.
Well, I played the saxophone for 8 years and the trombone
What?
for 4. So I yeah. I mean, I played the saxophone at church for several years, but I
What?
I, I am I am I'm like I'm a serial overcommitter, but I am not a long term committer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
make commitments that I make commitments that can be fulfilled rather quickly. I'm a
Yeah.
task oriented guy. Like I like to
Yep. If I can
get the
check it off
job
my
done.
box.
And playing for church is not something you can check off your box.
No, that's an ongoing commitment. You're right.
It is.
You're right.
Yes,
Do you want to learn? Do you want to learn golf for professional reasons, or because like you actually want to learn how to do it?
Yeah, I want to do it. Yeah.
Oh my
Another
gosh.
way to get some peace, just out there. And,
God.
yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk to you while you fishing. Don't talk to you while you playing golf.
I think that's one of their rules. I didn't make that one up though. I think that's one of their rules.
I don't think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be quiet.
Really? No,
I'm just saying.
Traelon.
Have you ever heard anybody clap while people are playing golf?
Yes. Yes, people literally clap after you like get the hole in the
After. It's
Okay.
not like, come on, you got it. No.
You never know. You put a couple of us in the stands, we might like. I feel like when Tiger Woods, like black people who went to go see Tiger Woods, even though he didn't want to be called, even though he didn't want to be associated with us, I feel like we was up there, like, yeah, boy. Like I feel like we was inappropriately clapping.
And that's when I identify with
Traelon, please, please.
I'm like,
Okay,
oh
those
my
are
goodness. How
clutching onto your pearls and your
people.
purse. Who are those people? Oh my God, no, Traelon. Remember representation. You're the black person in the white space. You have a
Yes,
responsibility to stick up for us,
but the
even when
quiet,
we a little.
but I'm not like, if you pull out hot sauce, I will scoot over.
Like at the restaurant or like at golf.
Like if we had a a function or something, like a work event or something, you just say, "Ooh," I'll just scoot over, like,
That's so trifling. That is so trifling.
Because
That's trifling.
in what world?
What happened to acceptance? Oh my gosh.
Mm-mm.
We're being judged by our own kind.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yes.
Okay. I think I've been telling myself I'm gonna learn Spanish for maybe like the past 3 years, and I have not successfully learned. I think that is a skill that I would like to learn, though, to be a long-term committer. I was talking to my cousin about this earlier, who is also an only child. Like, I am so quick to find an interest in something and then to be like, all right, I did it for a week.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it. Thank you for being here.
Hey, I'm glad. Thanks for inviting me. It's been real and it's been fun.
Good. Good. If this is your first time on the pod, or no, wait. If this is your first time in the classroom, thank you for being here. If you have not already, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, share with anybody. What'd you say in the beginning, Traelon, that you're just a boy with a dream? Share this share this with a boy. Share this with a boy with a dream. Quick announcement. We're having our first live pod. You have an opportunity to be in our live audience. And so at this point, we've already set up the RSVP link. I've done all the things that I need to do. I just need you to RSVP. Traelon, thank you again for being here, for literally sharing laughs, and then like also giving your raw authentic self, your raw authentic opinions. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Me too.
Glad to be in the classroom.
This episode comes out in April. When we stop the recording, I'll tell you the exact date because I have to look. But yeah, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. Wait, before you go. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, if you haven't RSVP'd for our first free live podcast on May 23rd, yes, Friday, May 23rd, doors open at 5:30 p.m., please do so. RSVP on Eventbrite. Go to Instagram at WSDTM Pod. Click the link in my bio and RSVP for our first free live podcast. You don't want to miss it. Okay, have a great day. Bye.